If you are someone who has ever wondered why I decided to do certain things or structure my book launch or my book sales or my marketing a certain way, well, I have a treat for you. I have an upcoming class that is a case study. And what that means is I will take you behind the scenes to explain the what and the why of the different components that I did during my most recent book launch for my Daniel Fast Meals cookbook. And so it will be on May 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as long as you register, you'll be able to get a link to the replay if you're not able to join live. Try to pick a time where the kiddies might be on their way to bed. So, because I get it if you're a parent. But today I want to talk to you about some of the mistakes that I made. Well, one big mistake. We'll focus on one. We'll get into the other ones during the actual case study on the 16th. But I wanted to talk to you about one mistake that I made that authors often make that is costing them sales, costing them income, and really just taking up unnecessary time that you don't have to waste. And that is overthinking. And I'm someone who is a huge overthinker from time to time. I tend to really analyze and look at things over and over in different ways. And sometimes that can be very beneficial. It's helpful to myself and my clients when looking at things from a bigger picture. But when it comes down to these smaller components, sometimes we just got to take action. And so I'm going to tell you about a time during my book launch pre-sale that I was overthinking, and it almost cost me close to $400 just because I was not taking action. And so let's dig in. Now, for context, I am Ashley. I'm the owner of Shep Publishing House, as well as Chef Ashley Shep, which is a brand that focuses on getting dinner done faster. And then with Shep Publishing House, I help authors and author agency owners to be able to publish profitably. And that means to be able to get paid to publish with efficient and effective marketing strategies. So for this, the most recent book launch that I'm referring to is for a cookbook that is in a niche about the Daniel fast, which is a 21-day change in eating habit, which is coupled with an increased time increased prayer time. And so with that, this launch happened this pre-sale happened from the end of November, the week of Thanksgiving, right after Thanksgiving. And then the pre-sale ended February 16th. So it was a 12-week pre-sale. And so during that time period, through speaking engagements, through book sales, through purchases of my devotional that was already out, I was able to make close to 5 figures. And so, shout out, hallelujah for that, which was very helpful for the things I was trying to get done. And also to show my potential customers, clients, fans, followers, that it can be done. And so one of the components that I am going to talk about today is how I was spending too much time overthinking and how I was second guessing myself on something that was actually a pretty relatively easy way for me to make some sales without any expenses attached to them. So for reference, when I did my book launch for the pre-sale, I focused on a certain order, which I'll talk in more detail during the case study. I focused on a certain order to be able to release the different formats of the book. And so at the time of this recording, I have spiral, hardcover, premium paperback, which just means glossy paper. All of the printed versions at this time have glossy coated paper because when you're cooking, your fingers get messy and you don't want to smudge paper. So spiral, hardcover, premium paperback, all those with glossy paper, and then also a Kindle version on Amazon, as well as a printable PDF version that's on my website. Now, as self-published authors, we often hear that, okay, we want to focus on Amazon sales because that's where the majority of your audience is. And for a good bit of authors, that is accurate. That's very true. However, that doesn't mean that you can't work around other ways in order to meet your goals, whether you have a financial goal, a follower goal, or a book sale goal, by utilizing other platforms. And so during the case study, I'll talk about the order in which I did this and why I did it, because it was very strategic. So to kind of zoom into one of those moments, part of it that I'm going to talk about right now is the fact that on Amazon, when you do the free ebook offer, your book has to be exclusive to Amazon just for the ebook, not the print book. Which at this point I don't even have the print book. Let me getting a little bit too in the weeds. So for the ebook, if you want to do the free ebook promotion, your ebook has to be exclusively available on Amazon. And you can do it for a 90-day period at a time. It doesn't have to be indefinitely. And so this is something that I use to capitalize on free downloads, to be able to get reviews. And so I was very careful about when I wanted to do that, because once you enter it, you can cancel it. However, because my book is not seasonal, but there's a time where people are more likely to want to purchase things around the Daniel Fast, I wanted to make sure that I capitalized on that. And so in order to do that, I wanted to think through, okay, well, I have the ebook version on Amazon. I was getting that created with my formatter. But then I also had a PDF version, because that was the version that I sent off to my printer to be able to get printed for the actual physical book. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, I have this PDF, this printable PDF. I've done it before where I've offered to my audience a printable PDF of my devotional and of my mom journal. And so I want to use this as well, but I want to be careful to make sure that I'm compliant with Amazon's regulations, that once I put my Kindle version up there, I can't sell it. I can't sell this printable version elsewhere. And so there were times where I was really just kind of tussling with myself of, okay, so when do I want to do this? When do I want to put it up? Because I'm also factoring in, okay, when are my books arriving to me to be able to be physically available? Do I want to make this so that the people who ordered a physical copy of the book, I don't want them to not get their copy before somebody else gets a electronic copy. And so what I decided to do in the end is to provide a digital copy to everyone who got the physical copy of the book. So if you ordered a spiral version, I went ahead and sent you a PDF version of the book as well. And then I also made the PDF version of the book available to people who hadn't ordered anything at that point. And so for me, this was a strategic move, because at this point, nothing was available on Amazon. It was just the physical copy on my website. And then now I added the digital copy on my website. Because had I added the digital copy on Amazon and done that exclusive feature, then I would have cut out some potential sales on my site. Now, that doesn't mean, and I hope I haven't lost you, but that doesn't mean that you have to do the free version on Amazon if you decide to add your ebook. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying for me is that at the time that I was trying to make this decision, it would have been more advantageous to use the free version. Hopefully that makes sense. And so what I ended up doing, so just to recap, what I ended up doing is I added so I had the physical copy on my website. I added the printable PDF copy on my website, and then I started to promote that. So that was the part I was overthinking is, well, I really want people to buy the physical copy because I have this bulk order coming. But at the same time, if I only focus on the physical copy, then I'm losing out on potential sales of the digital copy, because just from a price point standpoint, when I was doing the pre-sale, the physical copy, I did a bundle, and then I did just the book. And so then the lower version of that would be just the digital copy. And so the digital copy the printable copy was $20, $19.99. And then the physical copy was $40 for the physical copy. And then I had a bundle price as well. And so that was the part I was overthinking. Okay, I'm missing out on opportunities to get this higher price point. But when actuality, a lot of the people that ended up ordering the printable version, they weren't going to buy the physical copy anyway. They're not physical copy people, and that's okay. And so when we think about what we're doing in terms of setting ourselves up for success, we want to consider how can we provide different tiers of opportunities for people to be able to still purchase from us or still buy from us, because everybody's not going to want the deluxe version of things. So with the bundle, I made sure it was jazzed out and beautiful and all that stuff. But then there were some people who were like, I just want the book. I don't need all the glitz and glams and the razzle dazzle and all that. And then there's people that are also like, I just want to be able to have instant access now. And I also just want to be able to use it on my phone or my tablet when I'm in the kitchen, because that's their cookbook. They don't want a physical cookbook. They might live in a space that's tight. They might not like a lot of baggage. I have one friend, she's basically a nomad, and so she's not trying to carry around cookbooks. And so me spending time being so pressed about, oh, I would really like to sell these physical copies of the book that are coming, could have cost me over $300 in sales, because what I'm moving into now is that when I finally decided to put up the printable version of the book for people to be able to purchase. Oh, sorry, that was my sticky note going across the screen. I got a sticky note, so I stay on task. So because I placed it up for sale, I said, okay, let me go ahead and do it. Let me make it available for folks. I don't want to block people being able to get started with their Daniel fast right now. For those who didn't want to get the physical copy. And so I put it up for sale on, I want to say a Saturday morning. And then by Monday morning, I had made $360 just from the printable PDF version. Now, that might not seem like a lot of money to you, but for me, for someone who has kids, who has a home and things we have to pay for, that's a week of daycare. That's more than a week of daycare for us because we have a great price, thankfully. That's more than a week of daycare. That is a utility bill. That's almost 2 weeks of groceries in our house. And so if I had not taken the time to think that through, not too much time because I was overthinking a little bit. Had I not taken the time to think about that as an opportunity, then that's money that I could have missed out on. And so with that, because the timeline was pretty tight, eventually I did go ahead and put the book on Amazon. And so then I had to take down the printable version to stay with compliance of Amazon. And then after the 90-day period was over, now the PDF version is available again on my site. And so when it comes back to the Daniel Fast season, I will probably do that same strategy. However, before I put it back up on Amazon, the Kindle version, I will likely promote it just like I did before. So let's talk about that. So one way I was able to get $360 of sales in 48 hours on my printable version of my book is that I had a plan. And so with that plan, during the time of the pre-sale, I connected with a few different Facebook groups, and I'll talk more about this in the case study, so be sure to join using the link in this description or in the comments. So at the time of this, I made sure I had a plan to connect with different groups, organizations that did the Daniel Fast. And so this looked like churches that I had partnered with previously for my devotional, where I had done speaking engagements with them to be able to either just talk about successful fasting or doing a cooking demonstration through my Chef Ashley Chef business, or it was something where they had ordered a book order in the past, or maybe they were a new church that I reached out to. I made sure to use those connections to let them know that it was available as well within different platforms. So Facebook and TikTok are two that I'm going to focus on more heavily in the case study. But just as an overview, on Facebook, there are multiple communities that are about my book's topic, about the Daniel Fast. And so there were two that I was already a moderator for. And so during Daniel Fast season, I will share recipes, share tips, give demonstrations, things of that sort. And then there were a few that I reached out to try to add to be able to include and share more information. And so one of them didn't work out. It wasn't a good fit. And then the other one did work out and was a great fit. And they have since grown tremendously. And so through those groups, I was able to increase my potential audience for the book by about 110,000 new folks who hadn't previously purchased the cookbook. Let me say it like that. They hadn't previously purchased a cookbook. And so what I did is for each group, because it was 3 different groups, 4 including my own group, I made a coupon code for each of those groups. And so I said earlier, the printable cookbook was $20. What I did was I gave 50% off for each of those groups. And so doing some posting saying, hey, just so you know, this weekend only, because I had that timeline of where I was going to put it on Amazon for the Kindle version to make it free. this weekend only, get 50% off my cookbook. And click the link here, use this coupon code that was tied to the group. And so, for example, one of them was just the word group, and then another one had to do something with the name of the group, like community or whatever. And so then that way, I was able to track and see where those sales came from, because then it was something on my platform that I use. It's called Kartra. I was able to see, okay, well, this order, they used this coupon code. Okay, so they came from this group. And so that's something that is important to be able to track sales and data, because a lot of times we are moving so quickly that we don't take time to look back and say, okay, well, all right, I sold this, but how did I sell this? Where did these sales come from? Because then that enables you to be able to focus more heavily, to double down on the things that are working, or to stop doing the things that are not working. And so that was truly a great option that I'm glad that I took the time to think through, but also that I took action on. Because had I waited, then I would have missed that window of where people in those groups were likely going to be doing the Daniel fast during that season. Now, if your book is not something that's time specific, if you find a Facebook group or community that's always talking about the topic of your book continuously, then that's not something you necessarily have to worry about. However, you do want to make sure you are reaching your audience when it's a good fit for them, so that way they'll be more likely to sign on, more likely to participate in the thing that is tied to your book, or to talk about what your book is about. And so then the next platform that I focused on during this time was TikTok. And I had a TikTok account, hadn't really been using it like whatsoever, had not been using it. Probably in over a year. I just had my name on it. Maybe had 6 videos. And this is around the time where that trend that you've probably also seen on Facebook and Instagram of, I'm a blah, blah, blah. Of course I da, da, da. Like, I'm a veterinarian. Of course I know how to save a cat's life or whatever. Something like that. And so I did it, but I did it on the Daniel fast. And so I said, I'm doing the Daniel fast. Of course, blah, 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 blah. So filmed it in just one afternoon. My son was taking a nap. Got it done in like 20 minutes. Uploaded it. And immediately took off. And I'm talking about like 7,000 views within a very short time period. And a few reasons for that. We'll talk about that in the case study. But within that book launch timeline, so from the time I posted it, it was January 3rd. And then up until when I checked stats a few weeks ago, within the first like 3-4 months, it had reached 50,000 views. And so from someone who had not been doing literally nothing on the platform because it just was an area of focus for me, to that many, I thought, okay, all right, well, this is something I can tap into for the cookbook. And so with that, I started doing a few more videos to generate views, and some would get like 10,000, 24,000, things of that sort. And so then I made sure to let people know, okay, well, if you are interested in doing the Daniel fast, I have an upcoming cookbook. And I also have a PDF version that you are able to download right now. And so during that weekend, I was able to get one of my first sales on TikTok, not TikTok Shop, but someone left the platform, went to my website, and purchased the book within 24 hours of me actually taking it seriously on the app. And so that's something that I wanted to just showcase and celebrate, because sometimes we overthink things. Had I been so conscious about, I haven't been on here, people are not going to know who I am, and just really taking the time to just let's not take this seriously. Like, let's use a platform. Let's try this strategy out. It's a trend that people like. And trends, of course, do not always work, and they're not always going to be a guarantee that you're going to get results. But making sure that your trend is something, or making sure if you're using a trend, it's something that ties into what you're actually doing, so that if you go viral for the thing that you're doing, not viral for something else, then that will also help boost your overall platform. So if these tips have been helpful for you, then I invite you to join me for my pre-sale case study that will be on May 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're not able to join us live, then you can catch the replay. And if you are watching this after that time, then you can also catch the replay as well. So let me know if you are an overthinker when it comes to your books, and see you in the case study.